Hi everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. In this week's tutorial I'm going to be doing a lot with trees, but simple trees, nice simple distant trees. I'm going to paint a lovely little fountain, a water fountain, which is located here in Cork City in Fitzgerald's Park. Now people from Cork will know this immediately if they're from the north side of the area, or even the south side I suppose, but it's in the city centre. It's a beautiful big park, and in the middle of this park there's this big fountain, a big pond. It's a very, very big pond, and a big lovely fountain right in the middle of the pond, and there's water coming out over the top of the fountain down the sides. Lots of lovely colours, but simple techniques. Okay, it's going to be a two-part video, so yeah, I'm going to crack on with it now and get it done. A lot of easy techniques in this one, and you can use these techniques for a lot of paintings. It's just very simple techniques, and I'm going to keep it nice and simple, but adding little touches of detail here and there as we go along. Alright, it's going to be a wonderful painting. I had this on my Facebook page actually, and I sold it immediately, and I got so many compliments and so many requests for a tutorial. Now there's a little bit of drawing in this, but I try not to frighten you off too much with the drawing. It's just going to be nice and simple. It looks like there's a lot of detail, and it looks like there's a lot going on in the painting, but there's actually not. If we just focus on one section at a time, I think it'll come together nicely in the end. Nice subtle colours, nice warm colours. Okay, so get your stuff ready and get ready to follow me along with this lovely painting. Thank you so much for all your support, especially my patrons. I hope you're liking all the new tutorials on my page. If you do want to support me, pop over to Patreon, take a look, and see what you think yourself. Okay, so look, let's crack on and have a bit of fun with this. I can't wait to start, so don't go anywhere. Okay, here we go. This is my canvas. It's a 20 inches by 16 canvas. I primed it twice, and actually what I must do is give it a very light rub of very fine sandpaper. Okay, it's really, really fine, just to take the edge off of the primer, you know what I mean? Make it nice and smooth. There, very quickly. Just at once. Oh, and look, that's lovely and smooth now again, and it's like a really proper nice smooth canvas. I don't like using very coarse canvases and very rough canvases. I prefer a nice smooth surface. Now MDF is an alternative, but I like to bounce with this canvas sometimes. It's quite nice. There's the photograph. Isn't that lovely? Now this was on my Facebook page, as I was saying, and we're going to try this. So let's crack on. We have a lot to do. Let's get right into it. My colours are titanium white, naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, phaylo blue, some burnt sienna, a little burnt umber, some black, and some cadmium red. Now there is one more I might add to that, which is a little touch of, let me just look at the photograph there now. I can see a hint of a kind of a mauve here and there. So I'm thinking a little hint of crimson, just a tiny amount, look. Because you have some nice kind of pale, mauvish kind of tones in those distant trees. Now let's start with the sky. I'm keeping the sky very, very simple. Now I've done this quick sketch, as you can see, just where the river meets the footpath here, and there's a wall back here. This is all the river, or the pond. This is the pond in Fitzgerald's Park. I'm going to do a very rough outline now just of my trees, look, along there. So I can just bring my sky down as far as there then, you see, to save me having to paint all the way down here with my sky. Right, large stubby brush at the ready, some turpentine with a little drop of linseed oil at the ready, and some tissue. Okay, I'm going to dampen my brush, give it a quick dry, okay, so it's not soaking wet, and I'm going to go very light. I'm going to take some naples yellow and lots of white, and I think for this tutorial that's probably all I want to do. Some naples yellow and some white, so a very bright whitey cloud, well not cloud, it's not a cloudy day, but there's a lot of sun in the sky, so there's not a lot of grey in the sky. I know on the photograph it looks like there may be a hint of a grey here and there, but it's pretty much just a very bright whitey sky. More titanium white. Let's go right down here And just keep dabbling our brush now, picking up little bits of turpentine just to keep it nice and soft. A little bit more Naples yellow, and we go across here. Okay, like that. And you can see it's really kind of drying very quickly into the canvas. And I think it's because I may have thinned out my primer a little bit too much. Because I do thin it down very slightly with a little water every now and again. But I think I may have thinned it a little bit on the watery side, so it hasn't had much effect. Now I'm taking a tiny hint of black in that there, okay? Just a hint. And let me dry that across. Just a little hint of colour up there on the top. Let's get some more black and plenty of white now on this. It's a very, very pale kind of a grey. Very pale. And I want even more white than that. It's only really on the very, very top of the sky. Now I'm washing my brush, I'm just dipping it into my turpentine and giving it a really good dry. And I'm picking up some white, and I'm going to really lighten that grey right down into that kind of yellowy colour just there, okay? So you can see it's just a very slight hint of grey up on the top of the painting, isn't it? There we go, picking more white as I go. Now, there. That will do absolutely fine for what I need. It's just very, very bright, okay? Absolutely fine. Now my canvas is still a little on the dry side, right? Because I think because I only just primed it about 20 minutes ago, it's probably not had enough time to kind of really bond into the canvas and seal the canvas properly. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take some tissue and some linseed oil, okay? Just regular linseed oil, and I'm going to take a little linseed oil on my tissue and I'm going to rub it across the canvas there, wherever it's dry. So for instance, all these trees here where I'm going to be painting, it's a little dry. So I'm just going to moisten the canvas with some linseed oil. And in fact, let's go all the way down, because that will help the paint move around slowly. Now, I suppose it's pretty much similar to using a liquid clear type of medium, but the difference is this linseed oil will kind of soaks into the canvas as opposed to just sitting on top of the canvas staying wet. So it'll just help take the dryness out of the canvas. Now that's plenty, that's all I need to do. Just a tiny drop of linseed, nothing else. And I'll take a cup of coffee, if you don't mind. Okay, and let's carry on. Now we have our sky done, a very simple sky. And I'm going to start with the trees in the background. Some nice distant colour in the trees, isn't there? So let's create a nice distant green. And I'm going to just take my brush. Now because this is slightly damp, I won't use thinners in this. I'll take a hint of blue, tiny, tiny hint, and some nice Naples yellow then to make that nice and sort of opaque and chalky, okay? And I'll take a hint of cadmium yellow. So I'm still keeping it cool, you see. Let's try some white. So I'm keeping it a nice, cool kind of a blue. Now I still want a lot more Naples yellow in this, and a bit of white, because it's a very pale, distant colour. So let me just try this now for a moment, and let's just have a look and see how it looks on the canvas. Okay, now I'm just going to compare colours. Okay, I'm looking at the photograph, and I'm looking at this, and I think maybe a little more Naples yellow. Okay, there we go. Now let's go along and put in this colour first, and as I go along I'm going to start changing the colours as well. Now that linseed oil is really helping, see? It's just nice and smooth, it's helping the colours go along nice and smoothly. There we go. Now I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to start kind of adding colours as I go along. So let's take a bit more Naples yellow, make it a little bit more of a green. Perhaps even take a bit more white, add a little bit more white in there, and vary your trees. So some go right up high, some don't. I think the problem with a lot of beginners is that they tend to make everything exactly the same, but you want to kind of make it look like a natural scene. So I would avoid making everything exactly the same all the way along, perfectly shaped all the way. So go up and down very randomly, okay? And I might take a hint of burnt umber in that, and perhaps even a hint of black. Look, a tiny hint of black to make this sort of a greenish grey off in the distance here. Alright, so you're okay now with that. Now you can see we've got a nice kind of a pale green off in the distance, don't we? I'm going to take a little bit of black now, and I'm going to take a little hint of burnt umber and just maybe start darkening some of them here and there. Look, just there. Now give your brush a wipe on some tissue. Don't clean it, just take off our colours on it, and let's start adding a little bit of a mauve. Let's take a little touch of blue. See, a tiny amount is all I'm using. Look, the tiniest little amount, and a hint of the pink, and then some white. So we have a nice mauve. Now it's very thin, there's really hardly anything on the brush, to be honest. It's a really thin colour. And I'm going to go up here and add a little bit of mauve into some of these trees here and there, and that's just helping giving me a little bit of depth in my trees, a little bit of distance. It just kind of pushes them back slightly, doesn't it? And it's kind of merging everything together then. Now just practice away with this, just take your time, have a bit of fun, just as long as you're learning something. That's the most important thing. Tiny bit more pink, you see, so we have a little pinky kind of a colour going on, and I'm just kind of dotting it around here and there, you see? So you can begin to see the gist of what I'm doing now. This is kind of how I work. Now there is another colour I want to put in here, and it's a nice warm colour, so just give our brush a little wipe on a tissue, and let's take a little touch of cadmium yellow, and let's take a little touch of crimson and some white. And there's a nice kind of a warm sort of an orange, it's almost like an orangey tone in the painting. And I just want to add a touch of that just here and there, okay? Perhaps a little bit more pink. So I'm just kind of complementing some of the colours in the painting, that's all. Now next I want to add some light. So that's kind of all the basic colours I have that I want. Now I'm going to start adding some light. So dip your brush in tops, give it a quick wipe on your tissue, and I'm going to go in there now to some cadmium yellow and naples yellow, and a little hint of white. And I'm going to go along now with the same brush. You can see the way it's all splayed out. It's very rough, open brush. I'm just going to go along and start adding some highlights here and there to some of the trees, okay? And I'm just using the corner of the brush, just this corner. Okay, load up again, and let's imagine the light is coming down and catching the trees just on the left hand side. Now you can see it's only a subtle difference in the colour, but it makes all the difference, doesn't it? And let's even take a hint of yellow with more white, make a nice bright highlight, because of course they won't all be exactly the same, will they? There'll be slight differences. And now that's how I kind of created the mistiness in the photograph. It's the very same kind of technique. And then what I did do as well was just clean the brush and even go into some of this very bright whitey yellowy colour, just a little, and you can even soften some of these off, kind of up into the sky slightly, you see? Just adding a little touch of a kind of a haziness to them. Okay? And that's what I did in the last painting. I just kind of merged it up into the sky slightly, just here and there. Understand? And it gives that hazy feel. Now we also have some darks, so I'm going to switch brushes now and put this brush down, and I'm going to take another one. And it's just a nice flat kind of a brush, but it's a pretty worn flat brush. Alright? And I'm going to take some burnt umber, some black, and a little touch of yellow to make a nice dark green. I'm going to go along and add some little dark green bushes here and there. And notice I'm holding the brush at a slight angle. Okay? Just hold it at an angle and it'll give you some nice impressions of little bushes and trees. And look, go up around in a circle like that, gives you a nice little tree. Let's pick up more black. And let's go over here, add a couple of darks. Now, there's a very good reason why I'm adding lots of darks on the bottom of this. And that's because we're going to have a nice light colour coming along underneath a lot of these. So I want this nice kind of a dark colour just at the very, very base of these trees. Now, we're getting some nice rich colours over here, so let's go into some rich colours. Let's take some yellow on its own, and let's dot that around to make little bushes, little plants, that type of stuff. Let's take a hint of burnt sienna with that. So we're now getting some nice rich colours going on, aren't we? And we can put a hint of that colour maybe just around here, look. Now, clean the brush and go into some cadmium red. Even some burnt umber also, or burnt sienna. So cadmium red and burnt sienna. And let's dot a couple of those around here and there. Let's imagine there's little plants and bushes and all sorts of things. Lots of different types of flowers. And then take some white. An impression, you see, of lots of lovely little plants off in the distance. Now that looks to me like it's too kind of flat all the way along, so I'm going to add some height just to one or two of them, okay? So I'm going to go over here and just add some height to one or two of these. Take a little touch of black perhaps. See what I mean? Just to vary it slightly. Now, okay, I'm putting that brush down and I'm going to take another brush, a round brush, because we have some nice trees dotted around the place over there. So I'm taking this little pointy brush, detail brush, and I'm going to take some burnt umber and a touch of black, okay? And lots of turpentine in this. And off at a distance I'm going to suggest just one or two little trees popping up here and there, okay? Now, it's just an impression, that's all. A lot of this will be covered with some foliage again. So it's just the impression of like tree trunks coming up. Now we have a thick one. We have a very thick one around here. Let's put that one in. Like so. And we have another one next to it. Let's put that one in here. Okay. Nice thick tree trunk. Perhaps a touch of black on this one. And we have another one or two. Let's add a little touch of white into that, because we have a couple of distant ones off here. Now, there we go. That brush now is not working for me at all. I'm just not happy with that brush. Let me take a smaller brush. There we go, that's better. And suggest a couple off in the distance here, coming up. Now this one here has some nice branches. It's a very bare kind of a tree, so there's not much foliage on this tree. It's probably just because it's a particular type, but there was one there with lots of foliage, and there was another one next with them with loads with very little foliage. So it's a nice balance. So let's just get this one on here now. A couple of little twigs popping out here and there. And again, just keep it simple. Don't be going to too much trouble with this at all. Now this is a nice kind of a fern tree that we have here. Or fir, is it fir or fern tree? I suppose it's called a fir tree, is it? And a couple of little branches just here and there on those. Now, okay, let's add some foliage to some of these. And I'm going to start with, I'll get my fan brush, okay? Let me get my nice clean fan brush, and I'm going to make a nice dark green for this. So I'm going to dampen it very slightly, and I'm going to take some cadmium yellow, a little hint of black, and that will give me a very dark green. Okay, so very dark green first on this one. Let's go like this. And let's go down this side. Now if it's a little dry, just add a little touch of turpentine. That will make a big difference, okay? Let's try that again. There we go. And it gets wider as it comes out. Alright? And let's do the same with this side. So that's just the impression of a little fur just there. And let's do another one. Maybe a touch more brown. Let's do another little one over here somewhere. Okay, like so. And the fan brush is great for this type of stuff. It's just a nice, easy, little, simple effect for a tree. And I'm going to take a touch of blue and a touch of yellow, and perhaps put one or two hints of that colour just around here and there, look. Now, I'll give that a quick clean, dip it in your turps, give it a clean, and let's put some nice brighter colour on this. So we'll take some cadmium yellow, some naples yellow, and a hint of the bluey green there. So a very bright kind of a colour. See, it's just catching a little bit of light. Just on one side. And do the same on this one, just with the corner of your brush. And it gives a nice impression of a nice light catching the trees just here and there. Okay, let's leave it at that for now. I might just add a little hint of a Naples yellow kind of a colour just on the left hand side of this tree here, just to suggest a little bit of light catching the tree trunk. And a touch off there, off the distance, and that is it. Now, moving along, we have a nice bright rich colour coming across here. So I'm going to take this medium brush, take some yellow with a hint of Naples yellow. Let me see now how that looks. Okay, it's not bad. Take a hint of the bluey green, I think. And lean down here, down, put this very bright rich colour right along here, okay? And go up here slightly. I'm not going to keep it all the same, all the way across, so it's not going to be perfectly straight, okay? Basically. See, there's a bit of a rise in it just very slightly. It just helps, it just gives it a more natural feel, I think, rather than having a straight line all the way across. Understand? Now, we could even darken it on one side, so let's take some of the darker colour, perhaps a hint of black, and let's just pull a little bit of black into it here, and soften it off into the lighter colour, see? Now, you see already? That's made a big difference, hasn't it? And I want to hit that now with some real bright colour. I'm taking a small flat brush, okay, I'm going to take some cadmium yellow with a little hint of white, and I want to just really get a very bright spot up in one side up here, see, look, and taper it off then, just leave it smoothing off into the colour next to it. Now, that'll do fine. So next we have a little wall, a little grey wall. Now you see I'm keeping all this very, very simple. I'm not going into too much in the way of detail, but you can see what I'm getting at. It's just a nice loose feeling, and the detail will come later in the fountain. So a nice grey wall. Let's take a little bit of black, and again a nice simple grey, black and some white, okay? Now if you wanted to cool your grey down, just add a bit of blue. If you want to warm it, add a touch of brown. Alright? Simple. Now that's a nice grey there, look. Black and white, nice simple grey. Let's go along and paint our wall. So we have a wall coming across here, and it stops there. Then pick up a little bit more black, and let's just darken it a little bit more and soften it across then, see? Okay? And let's pick up a little bit of burnt umber. Let's add a bit of burnt umber to it here and there. So it's just like adding a little bit of detail, but not too much. See what I mean? Now, let's give the brushes a quick wipe again. Just clean it on some tissue like so, and let's get a nice, a lighter grey. So some white, lots of white into that. Perhaps even a touch of Naples yellow. And let's put in the footpath over here. There's a lovely footpath which kind of turns. And I'm just putting a hint and a suggestion of that footpath along at the end of the grass here. So it's a little grassy kind of a verge. Also on the photograph, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we have lots of little red benches all the way across here, and there's big tall walls then in between each bench. So I'm going to suggest those walls first. I'm going to take a touch of, now it's a nice dark grey again, a touch of black, touch of blue, or perhaps even a touch of brown, okay? And in between each, there's 3 benches, so in between each one then there's a kind of a high wall. So I'm going to start over here. So I'm going to suggest that wall, okay, just there, and it kind of turns inwards. And there's a bench then in between each one, you see. So let me just suggest the wall first. We'll worry about the detail in a moment. So we have 1, 2, and let's put another one here, slightly higher. Then I take a small pointy brush, get some of that colour, and I'm going to turn the wall in. Okay, and I'm just adding a little touch of detail to it, that's all. There we go. This one is fine. Then perhaps take a touch of Naples yellow with white and just pop that along the top of the walls here and there, just to suggest a touch of light catching the top of them. You see, like so. And let me just add a hint of bright colour to some of the wall here and there. See, look, just a little hint of detail, that's all. So just that it's not all one solid kind of a colour. That makes sense? Now I'm going to pull my finger along the bottom of them just to take that sharp edge off and sort of soften them into the foot patch just that little bit, you see? It makes it a bit more natural, doesn't it? Okay, red benches. Now I know I'm kind of flying along here very, very quickly, but I like to get something done in a tutorial. I don't want to spend too much time kind of concentrating on small little things, do you understand? So let's get some bright red here now. And we have some nice bright red benches in here. We have, this is the seat, this could be the seat area, then the piece at the back. Okay, very simple. Let me show you again. One straight line, two straight lines, staggered. Okay? Another one here, and another one here. Then I'll take my little pointy brush with a little black, and I'll add a little detail to these. There we go, see? Just a hint. Again, it's only a suggestion, that's all. I like to make things a suggestion. I don't like to go into too much detail with little things like this. Little bit of dark underneath, see? Just to kind of sits them on the ground, that's all. I just want to add a touch of light to one or two of those. Take a hint of Naples yellow and just put a little hint of Naples yellow across one or two. Okay, just like so. So now we have our riverside benches with little walls in between, and in fact there is actually a hint of green on top of those walls. There's like little hints of a grassy area just on the tip, up high on those walls. There. Those of you from Cork will know this very well. Alright, now I'm going to add a touch of light onto the top of the wall also across here. So I'm going to take a very light grey, very whitey kind of a grey. See, it just separates it then from the background, just a little. It does help. Perhaps even a touch of sienna with a white. There we go. Now, we're looking good, my friends. We're looking very, very good indeed. So next, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just sketch very quickly my fountain area. Okay, I have a big lovely wall of fountain here in the middle, and I'm going to sketch that. So I'm going to start around here, the edge of one side, and come right across, make it nice and big now, right across to about here, okay? So it kind of comes up like this, doesn't it? And the front of it then has a nice elongated kind of a curve. See, it kind of comes right around like that, doesn't it? Then we have the side here and the side here. There's a lot of drawing in this now. This is probably the slowest part of the painting. Another curve, very slight curve there. Another one for the bottom. Then we have, now let's pretend these curves are kind of coming around the back like that, you see? Very sharp. Then we have another piece in the middle which kind of comes down like this. Okay, again, no need to be perfect. And it comes up, it comes straight across like that. You have another piece that sticks up. So you can see what I'm getting at now. Just a very loose sketch, that's all. And I'm not worried about the top section, I can paint that in loosely with a brush later. So we have that at least. Okay, let me have a look around now and see can we tidy up some little bits here and there. I might add a little bit more detail to some of those trees here and there while I'm at it. So let's just add a few more little bits and bobs here and there. Like that. A little bit more on some of these ones in the back. And I might even take a small rough brush and add a little bit of light colour to some of these off in the distance here. Again, it's just a little bit of extra, that's all. I just want to add a little bit more. Just to make it look that little bit more busy. Perhaps a touch of foliage on this one off in the distance here. Okay, that's not bad. We could add a little bit more to one or two of these, even with our brush. Look, see? You don't have to use our fan brush all of the time. There we go. How about a touch of an autumn colour? How about a touch of an autumn colour here and there? Okay, a little touch of burnt sienna. And you see, I'm just adding all of these little colours in now, and they'll make a difference at the end of the painting, because you'll notice these little touches of warmth here and there. Okay? I know they may not look like much now, but they will, I promise. I'm just going to take a very dark black, okay, real rich black. I'm just going to go along under the ledge, under here. Just there, okay, and I might put a little bit around here and there. So you can see now I'm starting to fiddle, aren't I? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But yes, I'm starting to fiddle. I'm going to lighten this area just a little bit there, because I'm not happy with that. I want that a bit brighter and a bit more rich. So a bit yellow, a little bit of white. Let me just go along here again with that. There. I think that's a bit better. Perhaps a touch of white just there, look. Now, okay, that's a bit better. So, we're coming on nicely now, aren't we? What else have we? We have a lot of foliage up here. So, should we get that in? Perhaps. What time have we? We have a lot of time, yes, don't we? We're only 30 minutes into the painting and look what we have done. Isn't that just amazing? Let's get some foliage up here, come on. Let's have a bit of fun. And I'll start first now with some nice thick branches. So let me get a nice roundy brush. I have a new small stubby brush, look. A new small 4 round brush. And I'm going to take some burnt umber and a hint of black. There we go. Nice and watery, loads of turpentine, and let's just put some branches in here first, okay? Now, it's a bit black, let's add a bit more brown, perhaps a touch of burnt sienna even. Give that a good mix up now, okay? And let's go and add some branches. So we have some going out of the painting, you see, and then coming back into the painting over here. And that gives you a lovely canopy, a lovely kind of feeling of a canopy over the painting. Don't be afraid of kind of ruining your sky or anything like that, you won't, I promise. Just have a bit of fun, that's the main thing. And let's put one more through here. Look, a nice thick one, nice curly one, curly whirly, coming through here like that. Now I'll switch to my smaller brush and I'll keep going. And remember, you don't have to overdo this because we have lots of foliage covering all of this. So just be careful. You can go crazy if you like, putting lots of little twigs and branches, but bear in mind a lot of it will be covered in the end. This is just to show a hint of these branches popping through the foliage here and there. That's all. Now that's even enough for me. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my medium brush again, okay, medium flat, and I'll get some more yellow on my palette, and let's go to town with these hints of foliage. Okay, let's take some blue and some yellow, and even a touch of turpentine in this now as well, and a hint of brown, a burnt umber, and that'll make it nice and warm. Let's go up here and start just flicking some nice thick foliage in. My main concern kind of at the moment is just covering the canvas. I'm not worried about making it look like actual leaves and all that sort of stuff. It's just to get nice coverage first. That's the most important thing. Some black and some yellow. Look, just dab it on, flick it around. Pick up some yellow on its own, because that will mix on the canvas and give you a nice rich colour. Look, a little bit of yellow here. Now not too much on the bottom one. I'll finish that with the brush, a small pointy brush. And let's go up here. Remember, it's good to have lots of darks up there as well, not just bright colours. Some nice darks coming into it here. Now, next job, let's take our roundy brush. Let's get some nice warm colour. Some cadmium yellow and some burnt sienna. And let's look at it just down at the edge here. So look, nice bright colours, pushing everything else off into the distance, you see? And that hint of warmth really makes a big difference, doesn't it? By the way, you can go this your own way and take your time and put in lots of tiny little leaves, which would be lovely as well. But I just like to give it a nice sort of impression and keep it simple. You can put all your own detail into this later, by all means. There we go. Some nice bright colours. See? Isn't that lovely now? Already we have this lovely warm painting. Now let's come right down into the sky as well. Look, so there's some leaves falling off of the tree, coming right down. It's just, they're falling away off, okay? Don't be afraid of messing up anything. I'll just put a little hint of green up there and there. Don't just have the same colour all the way. Little couple here and there. Now let's take a nice clean brush again and take some white and some yellow and add a little of that here and there as well. I don't have any white left, but we'll push on. A couple of little flicks, okay? Oh, that's fine for now. That will do absolutely fine. Isn't that wonderful? So I'd say that's part one pretty much sorted. In part two, we will do a lovely reflections or a lovely fountain with some water coming down the side of the fountains, okay? I just wanted to keep this nice and simple as a background. I don't want to go into too much detail. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back.